Do you see 6 points against United and Chelsea, bro? Stevie Wonder settings, bro. Man, I can't see nothing. Another one. To the top police, man. I throw on my top now. Shirt police, bro. You know, comfortable, man. This is with my natural state, man. So yeah, man. But yeah, you lot are there. We're consistently inconsistent. Consistently shit, man. Like when we win, this is a lot of what you saw today. Some of this was here when we beat Newcastle and Norwich. Well, if you watch all the Arsenal's games again, you'll see, bro. Like the thing is, when we win, the thing is, bro, did I not say this 24 hours ago on Friday? Like when we win, no one cares. Oh, the be. Well, out here, man. What do you reckon the future holds with Arteta at the club if we were to finish outside the top 6? I mean, if he finishes 8th again, 7th, you need to keep it moving. I can't lie to you. Like, I'm sure he's not the only guy that can work with youth footballers and all them sort of things. Like I can't lie. I do think that sometimes, man. I do think that people try to blame everything on Arteta. But at the same time, man, talk like he's the only guy that can do certain things where he has done some good stuff. But again, you could argue he's made problems harder than it's needed to be. He's in self-inflicted issues. He's showed naiveties and not learnt with naiveties, showed an inability to manage competing in multiple tournaments, manage the workload and the rehab of players, when to use players, when to flex systems, when to keep things the same, when to, there's been good examples of game and man management, negative examples of that, overcompensating on certain things. There's so much to unpack, but it's a results-driven business. You can't be the only gaffer in the whole world, when what we're doing is not the same, but it's not too just throwing some examples out there. It's not too dissimilar from what you see at Dortmund, Leipzig, and these things there, Ajax as well, and I'm not saying to take any of their managers and stuff, but man have to start acting like he's the only one that can oversee a youthful project. As much as it's about youth and tomorrow, you need to get 3 points today. The Champions League is set up what these youth footballers are going to do today. Europa League is set up what they're going to do today. Not being in Europe can set up what they're going to do today. Yeah, I big up Liverpool, boy. When you build a squad, you believe in a manager. The players are not on joke things. The harder you work, the luckier you get. We was working hard during our unbeaten run, so we was getting that positive element of luck. When you've not worked hard, things are gonna happen. Boy, it is what I would say to these players. You lot just keep your balanced heads because you lot have been getting relegated, assurance to get top 4, all of these sort of things. You've got to react, but you're not worth even talking about potentially reacting. You lot just do what you're doing, innit? That's what you lot want to do. You want to turn it on sometimes, so you lot just turn up when you want to turn up, innit? People just want to run agendas, man. Like, DG, next season you should be involved with one of the 92 English clubs in the back crew. Not gonna lie, I appreciate that, my guy. I appreciate that. Bro, you've got it bang on there. We've created so many issues of ourselves. The Aubameyang situation was criminal for me. We absolutely need a class forward. We do, but I don't think when Aubameyang was here, we ever really created chances for him. I don't think we're going to create. If we don't know how we're going to create it, genuinely, for me, once the ball goes into the middle third, it don't look like Arsenal has a plan. I see little building blocks in the final third. I think, Arteta's kind of perfected is a strong word, but kind of enhanced what Emre did with trying to play out from the back, finding the right players. But once the ball gets punched into midfield, what's the plan? On the best of days, when everybody's fit, what is the plan? So now when there's injuries, when you're losing Partey, Tomiyasu, Tierney, these sort of people who are key to our build-up play, what's the fallout plan? What's the plan on the best of days? So when these men are not there, what's the plan? How are we going to score goals? You start throwing into that the lack of tempo consistently, the inconsistent man management, the inconsistent game management from the players as well. Lo and behold, you get a mixed bag of results. That's why, certain people that have been gassed up, over the last 5 or so games, they're probably getting a lot of heat in these last 3 to or whatever games this losing runs continues. And then people are going to get back to loving them. There's a lot of hot and cold players, a lot of hot and cold individuals within this club. So we're going to get hot and cold periods. We're going to have times where we were fourth, times we were getting relegated. And as I said, and you lot can quote me, and YouTube ones, I've said this, all that matters is where you start and finish. As I said, and you lot have G1, you're here, you've definitely heard me say, I don't want to sit there and say, oh, what about that November, though? What about that December, though? We're in a... take nothing away from the City game, for example. There were some positives, but we're in a day and age where we're praising losing. Like we lost in a more better fashion, which two truths can be in the same realm. Very dangerous ground. A lot of fans do lack balance as well. There was no way we left January. I don't know why the media and everybody writ out that Arsenal was somehow stronger than January. It was a mixed bag. You might have got characters that didn't want to be here or weren't committed out, but you've not given yourself room to maneuver. Certain managers at certain clubs that took my captaincy, they got rid of, they were on that hard line approach to everyone. Then when you do that, you ain't got no players and you're asking the man, them, including myself, to play for you. I can't lie. Well, you see that Walter White meme when he's like, I've won. That's exactly how I was when my old gaffer shouted at me. It's all love. But from a football perspective, you done my day. Hey, with a love certain players available today, man. I would say today for me, it was just lackluster as hell. Like, I know we look like certain people might say we look like we're more likely to score in the second half, but for me, there was no significant uptake in pressure. Like it's like what I see in the training videos at Arsenal, in my opinion. It's very one pace, it's side to side. People can hold on to the ball well, but you don't look like you want to score. And again, as we know, there's way too many variables that have to be at play for Arsenal to do the business. So, yeah, if you're United, you should be optimistic. Spurs, you should be going the sort of thing. Because, yes, you've got Arsenal have a game in hand, but as you've seen in the last 3 games now, you've got to react. Shout out to Southampton for putting their winless run to an end. Shout out to Brighton for doing the same thing the week before. Shout out to Palace for struggling to win at home and then bucking Arsenal. You lot have gone up and down the country. Brighton buoying you lot and buoying all of North London. Southampton going to get chat. How are you losing to Saints, bro? Saints literally, you're forcing them to be sinners. Credit to Hasenhuttl, Vieira, and Graham Potter. But anytime certain guys buck a half-decent tactician, they struggle. Anytime we buck a back 3, you know what time it is. Anytime you buck someone that wants it or half shows up or people that are less stupid than us, think certain things happen. Different dog, same toilet. Yeah, no 2 games are the same, but this game was very reminiscent in a lot of games, even when we was winning games. We still have a chance of top 4. Again, we still have a chance of Europe, but again, it's about how you're playing. So people can wallow in misery. Misery loves company. Or people can do the positive thing. We can still get top 4. Neither one is false. But reality is, even if you're optimistic against top 4, we haven't really got the players. We haven't got a talisman. The form's on the floor. The manager's feeling the pressure. The players are feeling pressure. We're in free fall. We've got some tough games where we're going to have to probably get 3 points. We have to win all our home games after making it tougher. If you're even if you're as positive, the most positive man in the planet, there are things that you have to consider. And if you consider those things, then genuinely you can still be positive, but there's a knock to the confidence. As negative as you might be, you're still in a fight. Neither are true. It's down, as I said a couple weeks ago, whatever narratives these players want to write, they'll write it. It's down to them. It's down to the gaffer. Yeah, we might look at January or this guy's tactics or this players, but we're in this thing together. Same way you started the season poor for whatever factor, you clawed it back. And you've done all of that to let yourselves down in the last hurdle, last furlong, last little bit. You don't want it enough. You don't want it enough. Nothing in life comes easy. Backs against the wall. Again, I still think we could have scored 2 goals, but it never really went up like that. We're starting the game half decent and people think the job's done. We're assuming after the international break against Crystal Palace that things are just going to happen. The manager's tactics were booky against Brighton, but man are not winning first and second balls. People are not following runners. Anyone that understands even Sunday league football, there's certain things you have to do. Earn the right to play. Man never earned no right to play across these 9 games, these 3 games, and this potential 9 points. Nothing's given to you. People think they're better than they are. People think certain players are more advanced tactically and technically and all the and the thinking than they are. People think they've arrived. There's genuinely, in my opinion, not a lot of pressure on certain individuals. That's why certain men are crumbling at this point. Boy, as you were, man. On to Wednesday, then on to Saturday. Crazy. Was secured. Seemed like the players thought it too. Crazy, man. Man said class with a gaffer. Why not? Bro, you need to do a phone in line for the fans to call in. I would, but as I've seen with certain content creators, shout to Saheed and Tobes, certain people want to do silliness. They told me Granit Xhaka was key to our mid. And bro, we're in a dangerous scenario. We're praising losing. We praise working hard. We praise midfielders for being able to pass the ball. We praise people for running about. We praising people for doing things you should be doing. Like, again, take myself as an example. I appreciate you lot that are here week in, week out. And you lot always talk about consistency and things like that. I shouldn't be praised for being consistent. If we're having a channel and doing certain things, then match days might need to be here. If not, reactions need to be here. You get the point. They're the minimums, And I give people, managers, players credit for righting their wrongs. But at the same time, you don't get credit for that. If you're failing a test and you decide, again, if you're the theory is the best example. It took me 3 times to pass the theory test when you get your license, innit? Because the first 2 times I was on some naive thing. I thought you could just half-heartedly read this thing and then just click some shit. Done that once, dickhead. Didn't pass it. Second time, dickhead. Third time, I said, I'm wasting peace. Let me actually passed it. Now I shouldn't get praised for that because I'm rewriting my own wrongs. Simple as that. Like, shouldn't get praised for that. Like, the bars on the floor, man. The things that people should be praised for, people don't get no time. The things that people shouldn't be praised for, people don't get no praise. I genuinely think Arsenal fans specifically lack a lot of balance when speaking about Arsenal. Arteta in, out, shake it all about. This player is good, this player is shit. Week in, week out, where a lot of these decisions have been there. The only difference has been the narrative because we've been winning on winning runs or losing form. A lot of these players, I don't know if you lot's eyes are blind or whatever, but they've been doing these same things, to the point where respectfully, bro, I think 3 of the best players in Tavares, Lokonga, and Eddie were on the pitch today. They were probably 3 of the people that were less confident on. They were 3 of the better players. I can't get onto Eddie today. You done the minimum. I can't get onto Tavares. Lokonga's a bit shaky, but I can't get onto him. There was worse players, but I'm not here to do this. This player was good and that player. Bro, we're a team. We're a 22-man, 25-man, whatever squad. Like, some players shit. Everyone can't do it all the time. Even the most quality players. If 5 players were shit, then the others should be good. If you lot were shit this week, next week you do it. As you've seen this season, maybe not so much now, but other players have gone through better form and other players have dropped form. But all that matters, once again, August, May. And we start off top of the league in August. So it's only down from there, ain't it? So, yeah, man, people can console themselves with the fact of, we was only expected to finish top 6 and hide their disappointment, People can, people can do that, or people can get onto this club and just be so disappointed with the top 4 where it lies in the middle. What I would say is it's another season, much like the last couple of years, where you're not going to make top 4, not because everyone's better than you, it's because you're stinking up the place, bro. Everybody going for 4th is because they're inconsistent. You only target 4th if you're inconsistent. No one looks up to 4th. United, us, West Ham United, Spurs, we've all had better and worse forms at points this season. Just the other day, Spurs couldn't put winning runs together. They won 2-3, then they became the favourites. Then we're the favourites. As I said last week, if Arsenal and Spurs drop points and United win the next 2 or whatever, they're the guys. And there was a point where everyone was saying West Ham, and that's going to continue until May. The only issue is things running out now. This is the worst time to be doing all this. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm still here, people. One sec. I think it's another day, another Amazon doc. Still here. One sec. Man said Amazon doc. That's documentary. Amazon package. Hey, man. At least my Amazon package came. You know the thing. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, Stefan did that. Bro. Hey, that's how Mane got his second. Bandili. So yeah, man. Shout out to you, lot. I appreciate that, CeeLo. I'm not saying I know anything. I'm just big on in life saying what you mean and meaning what you say. And I don't think a lot of people live in hot take land. Like even certain people, some of these players, you are gassing them and then you go hating them and then you love them again. Slowly becoming Leicester. Arteta is repeating the fall away as we did last season. Massive blips seem to be a regular with no way of reversing. Exactly. We're volatile, man. Too volatile. Game in hand is dead. You got to take points. Emre got sacked for less. He don't have the propaganda and them thing there behind him. That's one thing. But our players mentally are shit. But I'm not gonna be funny. And as I said, you can't always blame the manager. These are young, naive players that some of them will never do it. Some of them are learning to do it. You know. And I can't. We know this. You know. Again, Laka's not a thing, but Lacazette, Xhaka, half of these guys that man are relying on. I'm not being funny, but we've been down this road. Like I know fans are very emotional, and this season it's get rid of Laka threat, new deal, all of this, just like they did last year. But we've been down this rodeo, you know. The one exception is the young players, and you know the young players are not going to do it from now to the end of the season. So, like, we know these things are happening. Like, our bed was made in August, our bed was further made in Jan, and it's exacerbated because of what we're doing now. Fans run on agendas, man. Top four was secured up for us at one point. Man used to talk like it's a shoot, but man, puffing out their chest looking at third. They've done that about twice this season. Pardon me. Now, I hope the footballing gods bless us and somehow this might mean batting in. Just forget top four, just for getting a win again, beating Chelsea or doing something against United. But it's not how the world works. You know, when things can get worse, they get worse, bro. We definitely going to do the Amazon Doc Twitch settings. I wouldn't say bar they took him back. That was just shit goalkeeping there, bro. Appreciate that, man. I saw DG in 2019 and we had this conversation about our players bottling it. It's crazy. How did Eddie manage to stay on the pitch for that? To be fair, because there's no other striker and I don't think man can get... I'm not by any means... I just like to be honest. I'm not here to gas up Eddie. I don't think guys can draw out Eddie and Nketiah. You know? I don't think man can draw out Eddie and Nketiah. Bro, off-season should look the same even if Arsenal do get fourth, bro. You need to do, bro, out of all the teams that are fighting in this thing, I'm sure if you're United, if you're Spurs, if you're this, if you're that, if you're Chelsea, you might say something else. But out of all this traditional top six where we haven't got, let's be honest, we've been 8th back-to-back now, we need to do the most. Because at least Spurs, bro, if you keep Kulusevski, they can do a thing. Obviously, I'm not saying they don't want to bring people in, but they've got Kane, they've got Son. You get it? There's things that they can do. United, again, Ten Hag will probably... A couple of these players that United fans have given up on, they're going to look like players. And again, Ten Hag knows what he wants to do. You know, again, out of all these teams, we need to do the most. We ain't got the depth. We ain't got the quality of depth. We ain't got, you know, Tierney might be 10 out of 10. We ain't got a man that can be 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. It might not be as wavy, but it's a thing. You look at Liverpool. To miscast respectfully, he's good. There's a point where he could have kept Robertson out, but he's not Robertson. He can do a thing. I don't think Cedric was necessarily... I think the worst thing about Cedric today probably had a hand in one of the goals we conceded, but was his free kicks. The drop-off in quality is mad. And for me, more importantly, it's the knock-on effects for our build-up play. The manager said this. If we go back to Mikel Arteta's comments on Friday, he said, we knew in January we'd need to keep everybody fit and things. So without knowing it, is it Arteta? Is it Edu's inability to bring someone in? Is it Arteta's naivety? Ultimately, everything comes from the owner. But, you know, necessarily as much as I think certain owners need to go, I can't sit here and blame people because there's been money spent. And he never told, from what I know, he never told you or not to get rid of certain players. And for me, as I said, with Xhaka left back, with selling Aubameyang or getting rid of Aubameyang, with certain things, I don't necessarily care about the action. It's the reaction. Arsenal might be dead, bro, but win, lose or draw, it's the club I love. It's the YouTube channel where I talk about all of football and Arsenal's included. They can be dead or as alive as people want. It is what it is, innit? So away from that, please, sensible comments or comments that are actually going to add something to the conversation. I know we have banter and a joke, but we're just making comments for the sake of it. So Yeah, I don't know, people, because other clubs, maybe I could sit there and say the owner in Jam would have said, listen, forget all of that. You need to bring someone in. Maybe another manager would have played the game, especially if you can't bring people in. Maybe not let the people go, even though I wasn't necessarily against it. Once again, knock on effects, though. So, boy, and that's more, oh boy. Hey, Jonathan, appreciate you for cheering. One love to everyone who's followed it as well. Hey, P, I'm looking after to see all of this. I have to do it. I have to look at the Twitch thing in it. So I appreciate everyone who's followed and everyone, JP, and obviously Jonathan. You lot have been cheering and that appreciative to that. I really appreciate that. Never saw it. Don't think, man, is what it is. Come on, man. Bro, Ben White, move to today, bro. Move to. You saw, bro. Broya's a thinking man. Broya said, fuck that. Gabriel, he's strong in it. Ben White, pretty boy, I'm onto him. And you saw it. Even when he lost the ball. He's onto him today. I still believe in Ben White, but bro, you were shaky today. Where do you think we'll finish now? As I said, you can finish as high as top as fourth. As I've maintained, you can finish as high as fourth or as low as eighth. I think you're more going to finish closer to eighth than fourth, especially, but that's that, man. They would step up, though, but we have to meet fire with fire. Of course, you would want a reaction. If you just got smacked to Southampton, for Southampton and you got smacked, of course there'd be. But for us as an Arsenal fan, you need to go away from home, quiet the fans, and ask some questions. Like, no, as much as Foster made bare saves and could say was their best player, and in some ways, I can't sit here and say we didn't work the keeper. Bro, you didn't make them nervous. Every one of them players leaves with a bit of confidence that football's a psychological game. Of course, Southampton are gonna be on stuff, but that's meaty, man. That only goes so far. Even with the team that went out there today, that's enough to get the job done. Even against Brighton, I didn't agree with it. Definitely with that midfield, that's enough to get the job done. Let's be real. Palace, there was enough to ask more questions, but in all three of these games, the opposition wanted it more than you. The opposition managers wanted it more than Mikel Arteta because they made certain decisions. The opposition players wanted it more than every player in their position. I'm not saying some players didn't want it or didn't play well, but yeah. Yeah, bro, you got to ask these players. I wish I could tell you where the bounce back is. This is where I say, man, can do the chatting thing, can sound everything and, tweet all the good things, Instagram good things, the admin on Arsenal.com can do all of that. We can say what we need to say in the press conference, but the beautiful thing about life and football is you can't fool people all the time. The beautiful thing about football, the best talking's on the pitch. No one cares what you have to say when you win. Think about it. Do you and I necessarily, but we don't care. Like I just said, I don't necessarily want to see Arteta's press conference when we win. When we lose, man, seeing every word, because of this and that. The best chatting's on the pitch. And respectfully, many fans just don't care. Like I don't think anyone's purposely making mistakes or anything like that. But I don't care for all of that, bro. Like, let me turn up. My job, look, from Monday to Saturday, I just need to know that I'm going to see certain things. It weren't to be, though, was it? Watching this in the serious heat. Crazy. One goal across these 3 games as well, Crystal Palace had 0 wins at home this year. Played us, won 3-0. Brighton had 0 wins in 7, including 6 losses. And they struggled to score 2 goals and 3 points. The only thing we did there was mash up their clean sheet. Southampton, 0 wins in 6. What happened to beating the sides you're supposed to beat? I'll tell you what, we're not doing it. And half the time when we was lucky, you look at Brighton away. You look that follow me, I said going into that game and in general, Brighton away, we were lucky to not lose. Crystal Palace, we dropped points from winning positions at the Emirates and we're quite lucky not to lose. Southampton, I'm not going to count at the Emirates. We were good in it. We did our thing, but we struggled with build-up play. We scored a good goal, but we struggled with build-up play. These things are there. Go and watch. If you don't, please go and watch Newcastle Watford again. Go and watch Watford at home and away for that matter. And you will see things. But the only problem is when we win, I thought Arsenal fans would have learned from this Emre unbeaten run. Look at the game, just not the narratives. But who don't hear must feel, as my nan used to always say, innit? And it's only a lot of even Arsenal fans it's only when things like this happen, man, want to see things. There's just a lack of, clearly there's a lack of honesty. Certain men in this team clearly think they're better than what they are. Certain people think they've achieved something. There's a lack of pressure because people are in steady free fall, and there's a lack of reaction to stop playing bad. Like we said, it's not about when you're at your best. It's not about when all the variables are there. You know, some problems at this club are down to the manager. A lot is down to the manager and the players. A lot of it is down to the ownership. It's not just one singular issue. Boy, is what it is. It is what it is, man. Boy, dog. Circus sometimes. No, fuck that. It's not how it goes sometimes. This has only been going for us in the last 3 games. Good. And the thing is, as we said in the build up to all the 3 games, man, are looking at Arsenal as lunch meat. Vieira, fair enough. We didn't want it against them fearless man there, team that's in form. You didn't want it. You know, well, again, like I said, what happened to beating the teams we're supposed to beat? You're not beating them. And then you add in the Everton. Are you going to learn your mistakes from Everton? You never learned your mistakes from a couple of these games. So are you going to learn your mistakes? Hold on to winning leads. United. We went to Old Trafford and we took the lead and there was some silly stuff. But we said in the build up to that game, when you think of Bruno, Ronaldo, all these guys, the game's based on movement. We're not following runners. Even fucking Fred's making a run. Pardon my French. We're not learning. I don't know if people are as dedicated to the craft as they should be. And they might be. I'm not saying players are not trying, but I'm an ignorant fan. I'm sure if I saw you look at London Coley, I would say, oh, raw, man. Eddie's actually trying to score goals, raw. Like, let me allow him, but football's not that, bro. Football's not that. Football's never going to be that. It's just my job to be a decent human being from Monday to Friday, get gassed about my team playing on the Saturday. And then obviously, I wouldn't quite say end up in this situation, but it end up here, innit, people? So, crazy. Or something. Is where it is. What I would say, the only benefit is win, lose, or draw. I appreciate you lot, Arsenal fans, United fans, Spurs, whatever you lot support. If some of you don't even watch football, I appreciate it. Obviously, you know, we run banter. I'm not saying don't banter the club. We deserve it, innit? That's part and parcel of the football. I'm just saying your banter, your comments, just being among this journey with man on Twitch and YouTube. You lot in top form. If Arsenal was as consistent as you, bro, we'd be a lot happier. Soft youths, bro. Sold dreams. These men sold themselves dreams, bro. Another point, a process can't be based around one manager. He has laid some foundations which are good, even though, like you said, there's a standard. But Emery left something. Arteta gets praised a lot of playing out from the back. He enhanced it. But I used to say Emery was doing it before his time. Obviously, you can't really do that with Lichtsteiner, Socrates, you know, Kolasinac, Leno. But he was the one installed that. He bust these young players. He wanted Partey. He wanted Nkunku. So there's certain things that were there. Arteta's, you know, the one thing Emery probably couldn't do is not necessarily make these tough decisions. He weren't backed when he's fighting Ozil or whatever. Arteta's come in, puffed out his chest and rubbed out several players and done things, you know, rightly or wrongly away from this season and whatnot. There's a base of players. Some are not good enough. Clearly, we need to inject a few. I would like 2 centre mids, 2 strikers, a first choice caliber left back, potentially a backup right back. I'm sure there's other things, but there's a base there that someone that maybe knows what they're on, and if the club was committed, could come and add something and bring something more to the table. I don't know though, but you're right. And again, you're even more right, CeeLo, because it's head coaches now. I know Arteta is now our manager, but it's a head coach thing. A club should have a philosophy, a principle. And you look at us, we lost our way. United lost their way, especially off the field. You know, other teams have lost their way. City, again, as long as them owners are dead, I'm not saying they're going to go through good or bad moments. And I'm not saying the manager won't be different, but there's certain things they've put in place. You know, Barcelona had things in place. They ran away from their principles and they went mad on top of things off the field. Xavi, obviously not so much based on the Europa League result the other day, but Xavi's kind of bringing that back. Is he reinventing anything? Obviously, he's doing things a bit different, like bloody hell, Adama, Aubameyang, you know, that's unlike Barca players, but there's certain things he's trying to do. Wait, man. Wait.